Okay, so in this video we're going to add in the follow through and overlapping action and the secondary action, but we're going to start with the secondary action. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this character, rather than just merely jumping down, we're going to have him do a spin mid-air, a land on a spin, go up, do another spin, as he comes down, do another spin, land and do another spin, go up, do another spin, land, and we may have him do another spin at the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the rotation section here, and we're just going to move along a timeline, and we're going to wait till we get sort of mid-air, which will be around here, and between here and between there and there, we're going to have him do a spin. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually key this frame. We're actually going to delete this previous one we made, which is this one here at frame 8. And down here, we're going to take this rotation number here and put 1 in place. Now that 1 means it's already done a 360 degree loop. So we're going to play back. I'm going to look at how that kind of feels. So let's just play it. There we go. So even though it's a couple of frames, we can really feel that twist. Okay, which is cool. And obviously once we get the tail going around with that, we're going to really feel that kind of spinning motion happening. So let's just go back, and I'm just going to move this out a little bit. And when we go to here, we actually want these frames, we actually want him to have landed. So we're going to rotate this 180 degrees. In fact, actually not 180 completely, but enough so the eyes are kind of facing in this diagonal shape here. And then with the next frame, we're going to add him in to that bit there. So let's just have a look at this. So it goes in. At this point here, I think he's got that lift on. So we will need to change the position on the height. So what we're going to do is we're just quickly going to pull that back up. And I'm going to play that back just to see how it feels. And I think that's the key when you've got a fast animation like this. Just feel how it feels. Does it feel off? Does it feel right? If it feels off, try and explore what that might be. I kind of feel that works at the moment, so we're going to leave it, and we're going to move on. So yeah, so we've now got the first spin happening here, we've got the second spin happening there, comes back up, and from this point we kind of want the next spin to happen. So yeah, from around here. So what I'm going to do on the rotation, again I'm going to delete that keyframe, and I'm going to key this one in, and between here we're going to add another 1 in, because again we want him to have done a full turn, and hopefully we've got enough in there to kind of demonstrate that. Nice. Okay, so when he lands as well, we want that to be over again, kind of at this diagonal line, So we're going to move it back up again, and in the next frame we want it to be completely sideways, so we're going to rotate to 180, and then we're going to move that piece up. I'm going to move him back up, and once he's there, he's going to come back up, and then again from this point we're going to do another turn. So we're going to key that in by pushing the diamond shape over here to the left. We're going to delete the next keyframe. We're going to go to frame 12 where that frame is, and again we're going to rotate that by 1. So we're going to go down to rotation, we're going to push 1, and we're going to see that spin, hopefully. Yep. Okay, and then he's going to land, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have him land in at that diagonal, and we're going to put him up slightly, or her, or she, or it, who knows. All I know is it's called Bouncy, because it bounces clearly, and that spins, and we're going to land down there. And the next frame is going to be 180, and we're going to pull that up slightly, and then it's going to turn around there, so that can be 360. Okay, and we can move that position down there. So let's just take a look at that turn. So what you'll notice here is as it spins around, because of the pivot point, it kind of looks like it's moving along the floor. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to move this landing position further across here. Okay, so we're going to change the position here from there, and we're going to go across. So let's just have a quick look at how that looks. Okay, so let's just play that back. Okay, so when he lands at the end, you've kind of got that weird jump. So what we need is to move these along a little bit. So we've got another frame in between. So let's have a look now. That's better. And so what we need to do is just add in a bit of follow through on the body. So when it gets to this point, we need a bit more squash and stretch. So from there, we're just going to change the scale again to 120. To 80. And we'll take that all the way to the end, and we'll take him back to 100 and 100. So let's just play that back now. So it feels like it's quite skippy at the end with that jump. It's still quite really fast. It's not slowing down as you'd expect. So this bit here. So I think we spend a little bit too long on the turn there. Maybe not enough. So let's just move those across another couple of frames. That's a little bit better. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that for now. And yeah, so we've now got the main action happening with our secondary action with that flip. So now is time to work on the tail. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our first frame, and we are going to reveal all of these by turning on the eye. And if we zoom in, so you can scroll in to get closer, we're now going to see the tail. So now we can see all those individual pieces. And what we're going to have to do is kind of key all of these in frame to frame. You will notice they squash and stretch with the overall model, and that's because they're constrained to the parent. Don't worry about it, we won't really notice that, and it will kind of look really cool on the stretch when it pulls down and it's kind of pulling that tail out longer, which is kind of cool, which is what we want to really retain. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the starting position for these. So we're going to select the rotate tool up here, and we're just going to select the first tail, hold shift, push up and pull down, and we just want to make sure we're going to get the key on the rotation. So we're going to select the first one, sorry, not the first one, not the fourth one, sorry, the first one up here, and we're just going to scroll that down. Okay, and let's just make sure it's put a keyframe in. It hasn't, so just click that there and it'll put one in. Then I'll get to tail 2, and we're just going to pull this one back up a little bit. Got kind of the tips hitting there. Then with the next one, going to put it along, and finally the final piece we can just click the rotation, and that'll be fine. We're then going to move along to the next kind of main frame, which is here. So we're going to go back to tail 1, sorry, not frame 1, tail 1, and we're going to scroll that around, and you'll see it warps as we move it, and we're then going to go up to tail 2, select that, and we're just going to pull that up slightly like that, and then tail 3, and we're going to curve it around. In fact, actually I want to pull that one up, and then finally with tail 4 you just want to kind of get a little flick on the go there. Okay, we're just going to pull this one around a little bit more, kind of pull this one back. It's a little bit awkward, it's not as soft and as smooth and as round as I'd hope, and you know, we can play with the puppet tool to fix that if we wanted to, for instance, to do another rig, but for the purposes of this we're going to stick with this kind of slightly awkward tail setup. So as we go in, the tail kind of follows up, and as it goes down here we kind of want to really stretch that tail out. So we're going to go back in, we're going to pull that back up, and kind of, in fact actually what we're going to do is we're going to keep that quite compact there, and then we're just going to keep the last 2 bits in. I don't think we need to move those. So in between here and here actually we're going to rotate this one right round so we get that flick happening, and we're just going to move that across so it happens after. And then here, in fact actually no, so this is the problem when we're working with so few frames that we can't get a complete flow of that inertia in, so we may do another animation focusing specifically on that so you can kind of get benefit. But here we're going to have that tail launch out, so to kind of really feel the push off from the ground. And we're going to rotate again, and again with this one, tail 3, and then again with tail 4. So pull in, tail pulls up, and it pushes up, and at this point here we can take it back to 0, 0, and we want this tail 3 to be like that. Tail 4, we're going to bring that back up, and we kind of want the tail to just curve around a little bit. Oh, that went a bit too far there, didn't it? Get back up. I want these to just sort of follow around like that. That's perfect. And I'm probably just going to twist a little bit on the end here, like so. Then at this point we want that tail to be completely covered around the body again. So what we're going to do is start back at tail 1, and we're just going to pull that in, and there, and there, and again just pull that around. So it kind of feels like more like a ball. So we're just going to play back those few frames, kind of see what it feels like. Okay, so it's really quick, but you can feel, you can feel that jump. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. So even though the tail breaks, the rig isn't great, and if this was for a professional production, we'd probably spend a little bit of time working on developing that rig. Actually, we kind of got a really cool feeling jump, which you don't really notice the break, but you can feel the tail wag. You can kind of feel it. It's floppy, and that's exactly what we want. Right then, so as we come in and land, we obviously want the same. We want the tail to stay in that position from here onwards. So what we're going to do is just scroll up through this position, and we're just going to key in those rotation values while pushing this diamond button on the left. And in the next 2 frames to here, we want that tail to be straight. Okay, so I'm going to go back down. We're going to push 0 and 0 and 0 and 0. Okay, so we can see that it's following, and what we do want though is this to kind of follow the direction of the curve, like that. And then as we go up and over, so once we get to here again, we want that tail following the curve, otherwise it's going to feel a little off. Perfect. And then from here we want the tail to start to curve, so we're going to push these key values in again so the tail stays straight for the duration of space. And then once they're in, we're going to go along a couple of frames to where we are moving like so, and rather than recurve them, we're actually going to go to this part here, and we're going to go Control C once it's selected, and we're going to go back to this frame here, which is frame 21, Control V, and we're going to go and select the one from frame 12 again over here, push, so select it so it's blue, Control C and Control V, and again frame 12, Control C, Control V of the next tail piece, and finally Control C and Control V. Okay, and then we have it. So we have that tail come in, and again we want it from going from here and up. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to select both of these. I'm going to push Control C and Control V, and it should start to go out where we want it to, which is there. Perfect. So we're going to do the same thing again. Just going to take it back a couple of frames. We're going to select both of those, Control C, Control V, and do the same up here, Control C, Control V, and then the same here as well, Control C, Control V. So once we get up, there we go, perfect. Same thing again. When we get up here, we want it to be straighter. So we're just going to select tail 1, and just going to zoom in a little bit just so we can perfect that, and we're going to just straighten that up. Excellent. Right, then we're just going to key in these again, Control C, V, Control C and V, and perfect. Right then, so as we go in again, we do our next jump, we want to do exactly the same thing again. We want to get that curl. So we're going to select these ones here about frame 21, Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. I'm hoping they're the right ones. Control C and V. Nope. So let's go back to oh yeah, sorry, I'm doing the wrong one there. My apologies. There you go, perfect. And as that comes in, so what we want here is the tail to be straight. So at this frame, we're going to go through, we're just going to set these to 0 and 0 and 0, and that should all be done. And we're just going to key that one. So what we've got to do is now just work out that distance between, so obviously around here, so we want it to be completely curled up at this point, and flat at that point. So here what we're going to do is Control C and V again, just to bring that curl back up. I'm just going to copy this one as well, since it's been around there for ages. In fact, we probably do need to give that a bit of a tweak there, don't we? So let's just add that one in. So Control C, V. There we go, got that curved in. Then we'll copy it again here because it's coming back out. And then at this point we want it all to be in fact, actually, we said we're going to add our inertia in actually. So I think we can. Maybe not. Right. So we'll just add in 0, 0. So ultimately, our tail is following through our body and sort of overlapping slightly. Although overlapping kind of is done per frame, but this is probably not the best example to show that with. So with our tail coming through the floor there, what we're going to do is I'm going to take the fourth one, last position, sorry, and turn the rotation up. And even at this point, we're just going to keep it facing forward. so we may need to move the other slightly as well. Perfect. So here we'll have it kind of facing out, which is fine. And we're going to have these two kind of tucked in, so let's just go back, Control Z. We just need to set in the keyframe here, so it doesn't move, so don't move in between those. And then in this next one along, we'll have facing forward, so tail 2, we're going to just have it kind of snapping out, so it's almost going to kind of like pop out. And so let's just quickly get this final position in for the tail. Number 4, then move up to the next one. Excellent. Okay, right, so let's just play that back. So I think there's a one frame around the kind of makes it feel like it's going backwards and then forwards. I think it's just that bit between there and there. So what we need to do actually is re-rotate this piece here at this point, just so it doesn't feel like it's full gone backwards. So we're going to move that one around here. So now it feels like a roll forward. There we go, perfect. So before it kind of felt like it was falling backwards into the tail, then going over like an S shape, which was a bit weird. So once you sort of practice with animation, you'll really start to pick up on these kind of subtle things that don't feel right, kind of feel off, to make that final. So let's just have a look at that back. Cool. So now I've got a nice bouncing character. Right then. So in this tutorial we've looked at kind of adding a secondary action with that spin. We've then done a follow through with the tail, and we've now kind of got that secured. In the next video we're going to look at exaggerating some of these elements and just having a play around really, and kind of adding some other effects in. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.